Nice.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Oh,
Okay. Well, this is
I-
Karen with newclevelandradio.net, and it is time for What in the World with Paul Seaburn, his sidekick, John DiNallo, and it is Tuesday, and we are live on YouTube.
Whoa, all right. What a great deal. We're live. We're live on YouTube. We're not live anyplace else. We're dead. But who knows? If you're listening to us in the future, who knows what we'll be doing in between. I want to Never mind. Never mind. I'm not even going to start down that path because who knows where it will end up. Hey, it's that voice in your head is me, Paul Seaburn, the host of What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news show. Our motto, if you don't know it, real news, sometimes strange, always funny. That's what we come to you with every week on Tuesdays at 3:30 Eastern Daylight Time. It is a somewhat chilly day here in Northeast Ohio, where Karen and I are. John, on the other hand, I believe looks like he's very warm and sunny down there where he's at. So we'll get to that in a second here. Sorry, John, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I want to introduce the other voice in your ear first. That is Karen Hale, the media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, our producer and co-host. Go to visit newclevelandradio.net, find out how to download our podcast, how to find us on YouTube, and please do that. We always have a bunch of photos that go along with our stories, and they're always fun to look at. And then check out all the great podcasts that Karen has, in addition to What in the World. And then, if that's not enough, check out Yes I Can Coaching with Karen, who is our sponsor and also the best coaching service this side of Lake Erie, at least. So, and then
Thanks.
if you've got one of those headphones with three earpieces, that voice coming in the third earpiece is none other than John DiNallo, our color commentator, trivia guy, host of What in the World of Sports. Hey, John, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Paul and Karen, and yes, I am in Florida with a bit of a vacation, and the weather here is very good. I don't mean to rub it in, but yeah, we've had some gorgeous weather here for quite a while, and it looks like we're not going to have any rain for several more days. So we're enjoying the weather here for sure.
That's
Good
great.
deal, good deal. And we're all happy, happy Cleveland fans. Our Cavaliers are winning. The Guardians are winning. The Browns haven't started yet, so technically they're winning, or at
Lake
least
Erie
they're not.
Monsters.
The Monsters are winning. That's right. That's the hockey team, right?
Yep.
Uh, and then our honorary teams, the Dallas Wings, they drafted some good players, and the oh, there's Karen's got her Wings shirt on there. Uh,
Very good, very
the
good.
lacrosse team, the Panther City men's lacrosse. I don't know how they're doing, but
They're
we'll
in
say hi to
they're in
them
the
anyway.
playoffs.
Oh, they're in the playoffs. Oh,
Yep.
great. So you can see them on many of the major networks. So check out if you've never watched professional lacrosse. It is unbelievable that the level of play that is going on in those games. Same with the women's, the WNBA. I'll tell you what. Same with the Guardians and the Cavaliers. They're doing much better than they normally do. So. Pardon our excitement. We're not used to this. So,
That's right.
anyways, yeah. Okay. Let's get out of sports for a little while because I don't want to cut in on John's time down at the end for his segment. But we've got some great stories for you this week. I've got my Bigfoot sweatshirt on because we've got a couple of great Bigfoot stories from let's see. Oh, Bigfoot sightings in schools and also in gyms. So you want to check in for this. How to break up a sheep fight. I don't know if any of you have ever been in a sheep fight or near one, but if you are, we're going to help you break it up. New way to serve fries in Japan. You're going to love this. You're going to want it to be served in the United States once you see it. A new way to advertise fries comes from McDonald's, but you know, we are sheep to McDonald's, and you'll see why I say that when you see that segment. I talked about Bigfoot beauty tips from fish. So for the ladies out there, it's what a terrible thing to say, but that's exactly what it is. beauty tips from fish, and a new way to catch fish from Walmart. The games animals play. That should remind you of a song. So, John, be ready for a trivia question on that.
Okay, I will.
More odd news, world records, trivia. John's got a great sport for us this week. And then, as always, after John, we have Bluff, the co-host, everybody's favorite weird news game show. So let's get right to it with sheep fighting. So no, this is not one of John's weird sport. This is well, before I talk about that, for those of you who are regular listeners of our podcast, What in the World, one of the things we like to do is we like to talk about products that you don't see much anymore. Products that we had when we were growing up in the 60s and 70s, maybe even in the 80s, that you just don't see. And one of the ones John and I always like to have have some fun with is men's cologne and aftershave.
That's right, Paul. That's very
yeah,
true.
It's not something that is, it's something that you wore when you were dating. Well, obviously, we're not dating much anymore. We're not dating at all. We'll edit that out later for our wives.
Yeah, sure.
We're not dating at all. So the opportunities for dousing ourselves in men's cologne just don't present themselves to us as often as they did when we were hormone-charged high school seniors getting ready for the prom or what else we were going to, high school dances. And John and I, John, what was your favorite cologne?
I would have to say English leather was my
English
favorite.
leather. I knew that. I have a comment about English leather in a second. Mine was high karate. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago with the ads that you can no longer put on television because they're somewhat racist today. Also, in the aftershave area, Aqua Velva, Brute. Remember Brute? That was a.
You remember Brute? Yes. Yes,
yeah.
I do. Sure.
English leather. I always stayed away from English leather. I like the smell of leather, but I was always afraid that I was going to end up smelling like a dead cow. But thinking back, I don't remember John ever smelling like a dead cow, other than after one of our long intramural football games, maybe while we were in the fraternity together. But other than that, John always smelled pretty good. So why am I talking about this? Because of sheep fighting. There's a connection between men's cologne and sheep fighting. And here it is. It's really unbelievable. The cologne, or actually, you don't call it cologne or aftershave anymore. You call it body spray. And the brand that the kids like, at least the guys, comes from Axe. So, AXE, if you say Axe, that's body spray. Everybody knows about it. They spray it, they douse themselves in it like we used to. But there's a new use for Axe, and that is to prevent sheep fighting. It turns out young male sheep farmers in England, I think is where this happened, found out that their sheep stopped fighting when sprayed with Axe body spray. Now, that sounds pretty strange. The first thing that sounds strange is sheep fighting. I thought sheep were pretty peaceful animals, but here's a couple of sheep fighting right there. Now, John, you normally think of rams fighting, right? Like the football.
Sure.
Well, these are sheep. So apparently the females, the ewes as they are called in England, also like to butt heads and butt whatever else they butt. In Britain, but these sheep farmers found out as they're trying to break up their sheep, they found out that on the days that they wore Axe body spray, the sheep ran away from them. Go figure.
Wow.
So, yeah, apparently it's the smell. So they said, and this is, I love British colloquialisms. So what they're saying is when they wear Axe body spray, there's no more argy-bargy or rowing. Now, I'm not sure what those mean, but I think you spray different ends for argy-bargy and rowing to stop either one of those.
Paul, you're really doing a deep
anyway,
dive.
So that's what it is. This is like when using a product for something other than what it was designed for. So I guess Axe body spray is out in England. We'll have to do some research on that and find out. So anyways, I don't use Axe body spray, but that got me thinking about sheep, and thinking about sheep always makes me think about lamb chops, not the puppet. Although, but believe it or not, I had dinner with my old partner and friend Taylor Mason last Sunday, and he's a ventriloquist. So believe it or not, we were talking about Sherry Lewis and lamb chops, who was her famous puppet. John and Karen, I know you watched.
Yep.
I'm
Yes,
sure you
yes,
grew
I
up on
did.
Sherry Lewis.
She'll
I
say
did.
Charlie Horse.
Oh, and Charlie Hoyt. Wow. Whoa, that was a. But John, you're losing your trivia spot to Karen.
Well, Karen's on top of things here. Give Karen credit. She's on top of things, and what a great memory there. Sure, absolutely.
I never got a chance to meet Sherry Lewis when I was working in the ventriloquism business, coaching ventriloquists. But I did meet her daughter Mallory, a wonderful person who does a tribute show to her mom to this day. Really a wonderful show. If you want to find out about lamb chop and Charlie Horse. So anyway, lamb chops naturally got me thinking about bread, because bread goes good with lamb chops. Plus, you need a lot of bread to be able to afford lamb chops, which got me thinking. I just used the term bread to refer to money, which is I haven't heard anybody refer to money as bread in a long time. Have either one of you or anybody listening out there?
That's a phrase of the past, Paul and Karen.
Phrase of the past, probably around the 60s, right, John?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, sure.
When we were in school, we used to say, I gotta get a job and get some bread. So what it reminded me of is a song from the 60s. So that makes the connection right there. I'm gonna give you the lyrics, and you tell me what the song is. So the song begins with in the middle of it, it says, "I'm hairy high and low, but don't ask me why, because he don't know. It's not for lack of bread, like the Grateful Dead, darling." Remember that song?
Yes, I do, but I can't give you the name now.
That's from the Hair, from the
Oh,
music.
Oh.
Same
Sure. All
name,
right.
Hair.
Sure. Right. Okay.
Title song of the musical Hair. The musical came out in 1967, but we who were not in New York didn't know about that song, or even the only thing we knew about the musical was that there were naked people in it, and we were really wishing we were in New York. But
That is right. Well, that is very true. Very
in
true.
1969, the Cowsills did a version of Hair that went to #1, which it seems like it would be an odd thing for a song from a musical with naked people in it, to be sung by a family of singers with the mom and dad. I think the dad may have even been in the group as well, and a bunch of brothers and sisters. Yeah. Plus, it was #1. I lost my place in my script here. So I can't believe the Cowsills are still not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. By the way, we just had the Rock Hall announce the inductees this year. Huge, must have been 16. At least a dozen inductees. Cher's in. It's about time, I think, for Cher. Kool and the Gang, I don't know. John, were you a Kool and the Gang fan?
Well, I actually like Kool and the Gang a lot, as a matter of fact. I mean, I thought they had a very unique style, and I like their music. And if I may jump in, I'm glad to see that Foreigner, which is one of my favorite groups of all time, has finally been elected to the Hall of Fame. So that's kudos to them.
Karen, any favorites of yours that got in?
I was excited about Cher. It's about time, and I think it'd be great to see her accept the award too.
I hope she does. Yeah, I hope she does. Okay, well, but back to Hair. So here's what I didn't realize this, but Hair was a religious musical, which again seems contradictory because of all the naked people in it. But nonetheless, when the Cowsills recorded the song Hair, they changed some of the religious lyrics. And I had to do a comparison to see. And the original musical version had lines like this. Grow my hair long as God can grow it, which was changed by the Cowsills to long as I can grow it. And they took out some other ones. So listen to this. They'll be gaga at the go-go when they see me in my toga made of blonde, brilliantined, biblical hair. Then another one. My hair like Jesus wore it. Hallelujah, I adore it. Hallelujah, Mary, love her son. Why don't my mother love me? Probably because you're dancing on stage naked, you long-haired freak.
Right, Paul.
As our parents would say.
Oh my God.
Can you believe I had no idea that the musical Hair had such religious content in it. So anyways, what were we talking? Oh, we were talking about bread. Okay, so when did bread become a term for money? I had to look this one up, and it came from the 19th century in England, where people, for the first time, instead of working on farms, they started working in factories and getting paid. And what did they buy? They wanted to get a job where they could make enough to buy some bread. So earning money became the equivalent to getting bread. When I went to work, that's how I get my bread. So even if you didn't have enough bread to bake bread, to buy baked bread, you might make enough money to buy some dough and take that home and bake it yourself. And dough, believe it or not, also became another slang term for bread and money, right? Karen, did you use dough or bread?
Dough is for money.
Dough is for money. That's right. And we all, even if you were a baker or if you were just a kid, you always needed dough. Where's my horn? There's my horn disappeared. You always needed dough. There we go. Okay, there's our pun for today. So believe it or not, the term dough to be being used for money came not from England, but from the United States, none other than Yale University. Yale University was the originator, according to the Oxford English Dictionary. The February 1851 issue of the Yale Tomahawk, which was the magazine of the fraternity Alpha Sigma Phi. I guess that would be ASP, AS something or other. Here's the quote. He thinks he will pick his way out of the society's embarrassments, provided he can get sufficient dough. So that's the first time that dough was used to refer to money. Now, why are we talking about bread and dough? You may wonder, not to talk about hair or to lamb chops, but to talk about Japan and the weird food they're eating in Japan. Wait till you see and hear about this stuff. So the new taste sensation in Japan is a loaf of bread, hollowed out, filled with French fries, and then covered with not ketchup or butter, but with a spicy sort of spicy covering called spicy pollock rose sauce. So, which makes it sound like you're eating in someplace fancy when you're actually eating this in whatever the Japanese equivalent of McDonald's is. The Japanese name, I looked it up, and it translates to eat this if you want to be as fat as American tourist. So
a lot of carbohydrates going on there.
And Karen, does this look attractive or appealing to you?
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's a lot of French fries. So it's a small loaf of bread, but still filled with a lot of French fries. And then that goofy roe spicy roe is fish eggs, and we're going to be talking about fish eggs later. But who came up with this? Who was so hungover and went to their refrigerator, and that's all they had was a loaf of bread, some French fries, and some salmon roe, and thought, this tastes good.
Why do you even want French fries with the bread? That's the first thing I would ask.
I agree, Karen, 100%. Take a look at this. Look at all the varieties that they have.
Oh God.
This is an ad from the from one of the fast food restaurants. They've got, it looks like they're the different toppings. but it looks awfully strange. And then they've got this here with a drink, so you can get it in a little container with a drink. And if that's not enough, I didn't realize this, but they showed a picture of the loaf of bread after all the fries were gone, and in the bottom is cheese. So
Ugh.
yeah, if you're not full from the fries, and like when people get a taco salad, they don't always eat the taco shell. But if there's cheese on the bottom of it, you're going to eat it. So that's the way they entice people to leave no trash. Eat the entire bread, French fries, roe, cheese, you name it. They probably chew on the wrapper for all I know. Uh,
Wow.
John, I don't think you'd be eating this whether the medical conditions or not.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what, Paul and Karen, and audience, if you're watching, the presentation leaves a lot to be desired. I mean,
Yes.
it doesn't really look that appealing or that appetizing the way it's presented. So I don't know.
Good point. Good point. I agree with that 100%. Even if you're eating at a fast food place, you still want a little bit of presentation.
Yes.
Exactly.
Speaking of fast food places and French fries, that leads us to our next story. And this was a hot story on Facebook. By the way, for those of you who want to send us messages, I am on Facebook. You can always send me messages on Facebook. Send Karen messages at newclevelandradio.net. If you're watching us on YouTube, I think live, you can send us messages that way as well. McDonald's in the Netherlands has unveiled the world's first billboard that smells like French fries. Believe it or not, here's the ad for it. Smells like McDonald's. I think it smells like hamburgers too. The audio that's playing while you're looking at this billboard says, "You'll know it when you smell it." Now, while the ventilators built into the billboard is on the ground. For those of you who can't see it, it's not up in the air. It's on the ground in front of a building. And what the ventilators do is I'm quoting, subtly diffuse our iconic scent at thousands of noses who could look away, but they couldn't smell away. And that's they tried it at the Netherlands Taco Bell, but all it did was make people want to go inside and ask where the restroom was.
Yes.
So,
Oh, there you
so
go.
if you can't imagine people coming up to this thing and getting close to it, here are photographs of actual people in the Netherlands walking up to the billboard and discovering that it smelled so good they stick their noses right up to a blank billboard before, like sheep, going into McDonald's to buy hamburgers and French
So
fries.
it doesn't even have their name on it. It just smells like McDonald's.
That's right. And Karen, that's an excellent observation because, as I said on Facebook, this is a blank billboard that is nonetheless working successfully. It means that the madmen have won. The, you know, the madmen advertising guys. This is the ultimate. They didn't have to do anything but put the smell out there and draw people in.
Oh,
I can't believe, and this is in the Netherlands. If people are so attractive to the smell of fry, that means the tulip business is doomed because nobody cares about the smell of lovely flowers anymore. The national flower.
oh, really?
Unless John,
Kind of
unless
commentary,
they,
Paul and
yeah,
Karen. Yeah.
Yep.
unless they come up with a tulip that smells like French fries, and then I think we should all move to another planet.
Yep.
It's the sign of the apocalypse is upon us.
Oh, perfect. Sign of the apocalypse. A lot of people believe that fries are the perfect food, and McDonald's makes the perfect fries. So, these people are called cardiac patients, by the way. But I found this as I was researching the story. This is for those of you who can't see it, and I'll read it to you. This is a billboard. This is a menu from the original McDonald's, or one of the first McDonald's, when a hamburger was 15 cents, French fries were 10 cents, a cheeseburger, 4 cents worth of cheese made it 19 cents, carton of milk 10 cents, a milkshake 20 cents, Coca-Cola in a big cup 10 cents, and people were lined up and getting addicted way back when on cheap
Oh, yeah.
food. McDonald's now. if you wonder why McDonald's fries were addictive from day one, I didn't know this. The original fries were made in beef tallow, which is beef fat. In case you didn't know us, it's also the stuff that they build out of, which is why your veins you eat too many French fries. But I digress. Um, so that's what they were selling more French fries than they were hamburgers, I think, at the beginning. But people were getting upset. We're eating French fries that are made in beef fat, as good as they taste. This can't be good for us. So in 1990, they changed the recipe to vegetable fat, and McDonald's stock immediately fell almost 10% because they tasted terrible. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, it was a huge scandal. They tasted terrible. So the beef tallow obviously added some flavor to it. So to compensate, McDonald's added what they called a meaty flavor to their French fries. Now, they should have added a meaty flavor to their hamburgers first, but nonetheless, that's what their big seller obviously was, the French fries. So they put the meaty flavor into the French fries, and lo and behold, they're still, if not the top, one of the top fast food chains. Have you ever gone by a McDonald's when there wasn't a line at the drive-through?
No, there's always people in line there for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Noon and night. If 24 hours, like I believe they did once in a long, long time ago, there'd be people lined up there, hungover, puking and eating McDonald's fries. But okay, maybe that was just me. All right, so I've got my Bigfoot sweatshirt on, which means that we got some Bigfoot stories coming up, and John loves those Bigfoot stories.
Yes,
Have you seen Bigfoot down in Florida yet, John? By the way,
yeah, Annette and I were both keeping our eye open, but unfortunately, we've seen no creature that resembles Bigfoot. But we're still looking. No, we're still looking.
Put some donuts out on the front porch.
Maybe they would attract them. Okay.
I don't know. Do alligators eat donuts?
Probably eat anything.
Yeah, I think they'll eat. They're omnivores, I believe, if I got that right. Yeah.
All right. Well, this comes from Florida. This first story is in Florida. So here's a Bigfoot that you can look for. Officials at Lakeside Academy, which is a kindergarten through 8th school in Beacon Lake, Florida, announced that the school's official mascot will be none other than Bigfoot. So there's a picture of the very cute Bigfoot pictured above the name Lakeside Academy, and a big foot over the D. I thought that's pretty clever. The reason why they picked it is because residents believe a Bigfoot lives for a long time in a patch of woods next to the school. When I was growing up, we had woods next to our school, but the only thing we ever saw in there were teachers smoking.
Yeah. That's true, Paul. That is very true. Yes.
John, you'll back me up on this. Also, you could tell what the teachers taught by what they were smoking. So, for example, I remember the bowling coach always smoked Lucky Strikes. Bowling coach always smoked Lucky Strikes. The geology teacher smoked Old Gold. And so this one, the English teachers always smoked pot.
That stereotype is true. That stereotype
true all the way. Yeah. So the teachers say now that they can relate to Sasquatch because it's something that they never see, like pay raises. So all my friends who are teachers all love that line, sadly, but I think it's true. Now, would Bigfoot? So now they have a Bigfoot as a mascot. John, you're the mascot guy. Do you think Bigfoot would win against most school mascots? Thinking of the mascots, for example, I went to Padua High School in Parma. Our mascot was a Bruin. What do you think? Bigfoot versus a Bruin.
I think Bigfoot would probably win. I think, given basically his size and strength, right? I mean, how he's
brains. Don't forget brains.
Well, yeah. I would have to give the nod on that to Bigfoot. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now John, I know where John went to high school, and his mascot was the Green Wave. So I'll answer this. The Green Wave would drown Bigfoot.
The Green Wave would drown Bigfoot, and as an
I'm not
update,
sure that's fair, but that's what
well,
would happen.
but wait a minute, but I have an update for you folks though. So
Sure.
about 3 years ago, Holy Name decided to adopt a new mascot.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And the new mascot, his name is Dave the Wave. They're trying to a little bit more, more common, if you will, instead of the Green Wave, which, they said, the Green Wave would engulf their opponents, because
Oh,
some pretty strong athletic teams back in the day. But
I
so
guess
Dave the Wave is now the mascot for Holy Name High School in Parma Heights, Ohio. So that's for the
Dave
record.
the Wave.
Dave the
Well,
Wave.
if you remember back to those days, there were some other mascots. Let me give you some other mascots here. Blue Devils. Blue Devils. Bigfoot over the Blue Devils. I don't know. Maybe if Bigfoot's an exorcist, he might do good against the Blue Devils. What do
I
you
don't know.
say?
Well, the Blue Devil, though. I mean,
No?
I'm trying to, visualize what the Blue Devil looks like. Is he big, small? I mean, and if he's a devil, then unfortunately, he's got some superpowers. So I don't know.
Superpowers. That's right. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I'd give the nod to the Blue Devil over
Okay.
my friend.
How about Knights? There were a bunch of schools who their mascots were the Knights.
Well, I think the Knights, given the fact that when you think of them, they have armor on, right? Okay, you would think
Yeah.
they would have weapons that they could use to defend themselves and attack the Bigfoot. I would say that would be a draw. I'm gonna say it would be a draw. I'm not gonna say
Okay.
either side would be a decided winner. Yes.
I would go on that. I think I would go with Bigfoot on that because Bigfoot's fast. So Bigfoot could maybe trip up the night who would be slow moving in all that
Oh yeah,
armor.
good point. Right, yeah, because of the metal and everything. Sure, right.
Okay,
I mean,
final one. Yellow Jackets. How about Bigfoot versus the Yellow Jacket?
you
Yellow
know,
jackets are gonna win. They're gonna sting them.
I'm with Karen on that 100%. Yellow Jackets for sure, because they would sting the Bigfoot. Yes.
There you go.
How would he
There you go.
counteract that? He can't
Yeah.
counteract it.
And,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
it even worse. He wouldn't be able to see and he'd fall right into the green wave and he'd drown. So he'd
Yeah.
either
It's not easy being a Bigfoot. I'll just leave it at
not
that.
easy being Bigfoot. Whoa, that's the motto for this show right here. Not easy being Bigfoot, which leads us to our next story. This one comes from Monroe, Washington, state of Washington, by the way. Terry Kerrigan of Skywater Studios in Monroe, Washington, created a Bigfoot statue. Wait till you see this for those of you watching on YouTube. I'll describe him. 8 feet tall Bigfoot made out of cement, which means it weighs 1,500 pounds, almost a ton, and sells for $15,000 if you're interested in buying it. The sculptor, Terry, said that every strand of hair was handcrafted, and under the fur, he sculpted biceps and abs based on the physiques of bodybuilders. This Bigfoot is so hunky, the local bank says that female Bigfoots are coming in to get loan applications to buy one. How does that, what do you, I mean, it's got, I think 8 foot, I would like to have it 8 feet tall just because that's high enough to look in my neighbor's bedroom and freak him out. I'd like to get one to decorate for Christmas. That's the other reason I'd like, I'd put a big red, a Santa hat on him, and then I'd get a Rudolph and I'd have it under his arm like he's carrying. Believe it or not, it was modeled after a bodybuilder. That's our gym connection there. You can see a six-pack on this Bigfoot's chest. John, you looked at an awful lot of Bigfoot photos. Do you ever remember seeing a Bigfoot with a six-pack?
I can honestly say no. And then he's got some physique working right here, right? I mean, this Bigfoot. I mean, think of that, really, like you said. I mean, it really stands out. I mean, yeah, he's got muscle definition, he's got some good muscle tone, I would think, right?
If Bigfoot looks like that, we're all in big trouble.
Yeah.
So it reminded me not so much of Bigfoot of bodybuilders, but it reminded me of some old time wrestlers, especially the big hairy head there. So I went looking up some old time wrestlers that I thought would make good Bigfoots. And John, I'll put a photo up and see if you can remember the name. Here's the first wrestler right there.
You know, yes, that's Wild Bull Curry.
Wild Bull Curry, that's right. One of my favorite wrestlers. Wild Bull Curry, very hairy guy. Wild Bull, by the way, he started a dynasty. His son was Flying Fred Curry, and his grandson was Fred Curry Jr. So however many generations that is, all became wrestlers. Only Wild Bull was called Wild Bull because he was so hairy. Believe it or not, Wild Bull, after he retired from wrestling, he became a corrections officer. So, I don't think there were any riots at that prison.
He would take matters in his own hands, of course. Yes.
There you go. All right. How about this one, John?
Oh, that's my friend Pampero Firpo.
Pampero Firpo, that's right, the Argentine wrestler. Very hairy, very hairy head. He's got a big hairy beard, big hairy chest. Firpo, after he retired, believe it or not, became a postman. Can you imagine Bigfoot coming up to your door with a handful of envelopes and bills? I'd be terrified, doubly terrified. All right, here's one more. I'm not sure if you'll get this one right here.
Yeah, I know that is. That's George the Animal Steel.
George the Animal Steel. What do you say, Karen? Good nickname?
Oh, what a picture. Yeah.
George, the only place where there's no hair on George is on his head. The rest of his body is completely covered with fur. He looks like an animal. Believe it or not, after George retired, he became an actor. I don't know what kind of roles he played, but I thought that was so those are the three Bigfoot-looking wrestlers from the heyday, as far as I think John and I are concerned, the heyday of wrestling.
That was the heyday, of course. Yes, it was.
Okay, so all those guys plus this Bigfoot could do the next thing, I'm sure that we're going to talk about. Dave Rush from Idaho. He's a serial world record holder. He just set the Guinness World Record when he balanced a running lawnmower on his chin for 9 minutes and 17 seconds. Here's a picture of Dave. The camera must have been in the lawnmower because it's looking down on him as the handle is balanced on his chin. Unbelievably dangerous. Kids, don't try this at home.
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah, and he says his wife. He goes outside and they interviewed his wife, and she says, "I thought he said I need to use the John Deere for about 10 minutes." Not realizing that he wasn't using the John Deere, he was using the John Deere mower.
Oh my gosh, that is unbelievable. This is unbelievable, Paul and Karen.
It's insane. And this isn't the first time he's tried to do this. 4 years ago, he tried to do it. He tried to set the world record, got the Guinness people out there, and he was disqualified because the mower did not have a bag on it, which I blame on the homeowners association, because if you have a mulching mower, you don't need to have a bag on it. So
that is right. That's very true. Very true.
As far as I'm concerned, he should have gotten it. So I didn't try the lawnmower, but I did try my electric toothbrush. I balanced that on my chin. It kept falling off. I have beautiful eyebrows now. I comb my eyebrows very nicely. Why on earth would anyone try doing something like this? Some kind of weird neighborhood competition. We have nicest yard, but not nicest trick with your lawnmower. I don't know. I don't get it. And where do you go from here? What's his next trick? Does he try to balance a snowblower on his chin? Maybe a riding mower?
Oh my gosh.
Or the ultimate mower, he balances a sheep on his chin. Now, that I would pay to see. So anyways, all right, Karen, this is a story for you. This is from Jennifer Aniston, a very lovely actress. She's continued to have many, many roles, continued to maintain her looks. This week, she gave a secret. She claimed that her young-looking, wrinkle-free skin is a result of a procedure called plinheage, which is a South Korean treatment involving injecting her face with, get ready, salmon sperm.
Good for her.
Sperm, that's right. Salmon sperm. She was doubtful that the salmon sperm would work, but once she tried it, she was hooked.
Oh, get your horn out. Thank you.
The only drawback was she had to give up. She was working on a role that she had to give up. She was going to play the daughter of Grizzly Adams, which meant she would have had to deal with some bears, and I don't think they would like that. But if salmon sperm works is that good for skin, the Littlest Mermaid is set for life. She's going to have baby skin for.
Oh yeah, right.
Who
Oh,
comes up with these ideas, people? Who comes up with these ideas?
I don't
know.
know.
I don't even think it would make a good porn movie. The only one I could come up with would be starring Jennifer Aniston and Detective Fish from Barney Miller.
Oh,
That's
Abe Vigoda, right, right.
Abe Vigoda, that's right, for fans of the Barney Miller Show. Speaking of fish, Red Lobster is considering a Chapter 11 bankruptcy because they're out of money. Why are they out of money? Because they've had those all-you-can-eat deals. Here's one here. Look at all-you-can-eat shrimp. They got 3 different kinds of shrimp on the plate here. All-you-can-eat. They call it the endless shrimp deal. Now they file for bankruptcy. Should they come out, the ultimate endless shrimp deal will be replaced by all the shrimp you can fit on one cheddar biscuit. That's it.
Here you are. Oh.
People come in, they eat too much, they stay too long, the lines outside get too long, and people go away. The Bay Biscuits didn't help either. The only thing that would help Red Lobster, the only thing that ever helped Red Lobster generate business is Beyonce. Now, do you remember this? In February of 2016, Beyonce referenced Red Lobster in her song Formation, which she sang during the Super Bowl 50 halftime show. Now, talk about shocking. John, did you know that Beyonce sang at a Super Bowl halftime show?
I had forgotten that, to be honest with you. But now that you mentioned it, I do recall. I couldn't tell you the year, but you said it was 2015, so that sounds about right.
That was the 50th anniversary. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not knocking Beyonce, certainly, and I'm not knocking Red Lobster. At least the food looks like fish. Not like right? Not like Mrs. Paul's fish sticks. We have no idea what those look like. Okay. Speaking of fish, scientists are working on ways to communicate with extraterrestrials. And one of the ways they're doing it is they're trying to communicate with animals in our ocean, giant humpback whales. So there's a photo of a giant humpback whale right there. And they said they managed to successfully talk to a humpback whale in Alaska. And the first thing the whale said was, "Jonah lied. I spit him out because he stunk." And then the second thing the humpback whale said to the scientist was, "We prefer to be called spinally challenged."
Oh, okay. All right.
Can you imagine if aliens were the size of humpback whales and they're flying around in some giant aquarium the size of Texas? Captain Kirk would be afraid of that. Captain Kirk would be terrified.
I would be sure. I would think so. Wow.
Yeah, I don't care if the females are green and wear bikinis. He's not going anywhere near a humpback whale. So one more animal story. And this should remind you of a song here. So a turkey named Spirit at the Gentle Barn Animal Sanctuary has learned how to play Jenga. This is the game Jenga, where you stack the blocks and pull them out until it falls over. And the workers there say that this turkey plays at an expert level and regularly beats humans. Big deal. I could win a Jenga too if I had a wishbone to rub before every move.
Good point, Paul. Good point.
Yeah, if you want and they had other animals too. The turkey playing Jenga was much more popular than the cow playing Twister. I could have called that one. If you're gonna play games with animals, get a dog. Now, these are the kinds of games animals play. There was a song back in the 60s called The Game People Play. John, remember who sang that song?
You know what? Yeah, Alan Parsons Project.
Oh, close. That's right. They also did it second. The original song was done by Joe South. Uh,
Okay, all right. I
it
remember
was
Joe South. Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
he released in 1968, entered the Billboard Hot 100 in January 1969, won a Grammy Award for Best Contemporary Song and Song of the Year. And now the reason why I mention this is because this song would never get played today, as topical as it would be for the 2024. It would never get played. Here's some lines. Um, the games people play now every night and every day now, never meaning what they say, never saying what they mean. And they while away the hours in their ivory towers till they're covered with flowers in the back of a black limousine. Whoa. Here's another one. People walking up to you singing glory hallelujah, and they're trying to sock it to you in the name of the Lord. I'm not going to make any comments, but and one more, because you've given up your sanity for your pride and your vanity. Turn your back on humanity. Oh, and you don't give a da. They couldn't even say damn back in 1968, but they could say great lyrics like that. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Wow, that's amazing. I remember that song very well, Paul.
Oh, it's a great song. Oh, I have a story for John. I thought that was the last story, but I do have a story for John. Walmart is the first U.S. store, the retailer, to offer live bait delivery. Believe it or not, Walmart will deliver live bait to your door before you go fishing in Georgia in 154 stores from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. anywhere with a deliverable address. One of the delivery drivers said he couldn't believe there were so many people named Robin in Georgia that were ordering worms. But I don't know if you know this, Karen, and everybody out there, but I remember John's not known to be a fisherman, but I remember he told me once that he was going fishing, and I happened to drive by his house because I didn't believe him. And sure enough, right outside his door was a delivery from Walmart. Now you can see there's some worms, there's a Spider-Man fishing pole. I think that's what he was going to start with, was the Spider-Man fishing pole. And also a tackle box, nice little tackle box there. So that sure looks like your front door, John. I don't know if that's yours or
Yeah,
not.
I'll tell you what, Paul and Karen, the audience, I think you got me on that one. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think on that note, since I picked on John, we'll let him pick on me here for a little while here, and we'll move right to everybody's favorite sports show, What in the World of Sports with John DiNallo. Every week I ask my buddy John, I've known him since high school. We're fraternity brothers. He's always been a sports guy, a trivia guy. I say, John, find us a sport that fits with the theme. Real sport, sometimes strange, always funny. And John always manages to do it. Now, this week, this sport, it has a twist to it, an interesting twist that I like. So, John, why don't you tell us what our sport is? And
Okay, sounds good, Paul. Thanks for the
Go
introduction.
ahead.
Appreciate that very much. Thanks. So, our sport this week is extreme cricket. Now, on the surface, this
Okay.
sport might sound to be somewhat of an oxymoron. Let me explain. Historically, the sport of cricket has been long considered to be truly a gentleman's game.
Yeah.
However, this bat and ball sport is built on deep-rooted rivalries as well as a win at all costs mentality. By definition, cricket is not an extreme sport, but the fast bowling of the cricket ball, the powerful boundary hitting, and the acrobatic catches have now made the sport a must-see spectacle.
Wow.
Now, these factors have given credence to a fascinating discussion. Should cricket now, at this time, be classified as an extreme sport? Let me continue on. For players and spectators alike, fast bowlers, or pace bowlers as they are called, have long been one of cricket's main attractions.
So the bowler,
Yep.
for those of you who aren't familiar with cricket, the bowler is like the pitcher in baseball.
Right.
Yeah, he's the guy who throws the ball at the
The batter.
wicket or something. Yeah, the batter.
Now, the elegance of the run-up, the power of the swing make and the again perfectly timed release of the ball make for captivating entertainment.
And
those
but
fast,
again, for those of you who aren't familiar with cricket, they run this is like if the pitcher was allowed to start on second base, run to the pitcher's mound, and then throw the ball to the catcher. So you've got the momentum of the pitcher plus, and I believe the pitcher is even closer to the catcher in cricket than they are in
yes,
baseball.
that is correct, Paul. That is
I
correct.
never thought this. So all of a sudden, I'm getting scared, John. This looks way too dangerous for me.
Oh, it's very, very dangerous for anyone. So those fast moving balls, they present a realistic threat to the batsman trying to hit them. Currently, the fastest delivery of a cricket ball is, get ready for this, 100 miles per hour.
Wow.
A gentleman by the name of Sohaib Akhtar reached that speed when Pakistan faced England in the 2003 ICC World Cup.
Wow.
Many other bowlers consistently average throws of 94 miles per hour.
Oh, that's the fastest baseball pitchers there.
Oh, exactly. Now, despite batsmen wearing pads for protection, as you can see, they are prone to injuries when facing pace bowlers. In the 2019 Ashes series, Australia's Steve Smith got caught right in the head with a 92 mile per hour ball and had to be replaced by Marnus Labuschagne. And so this made Labuschagne the sport's first concussion substitute.
Wow. I have a photo up here for those of you who are listening of a massive bruise on a cricket player's leg that came from being hit by a ball. There's for some of you, you may not want to see some of these photos because it's amazing the damage that this can do. Go ahead, John.
Sure. So nowadays, the sport's fastest bowlers are at the forefront of broadening cricket's audience base. Pace bowlers bring unpredictability to the sport, and also that sense of what will happen next has long piqued the interest of the spectators.
Well, this one here, they've got helmets on, but the ball somehow fits through the hole like it does I'm sure in Major League Baseball.
Sure,
this
sure.
Poor guy, he's got a black eye. Looks like he got a broken nose here.
Yeah, when the balls are traveling that fast, that's what's going to happen for sure.
Yeah, and that close.
Right. Now, cricket is one of the world's most popular spectator sports and is fast becoming one of the top sports, get ready for this, for gamblers. With bets on fast bowling being extremely popular, no pun intended. Now think of it, though. Think of this. Standing in front of a hard ball thrown by a running bowler just 66 feet away and traveling at you at 95 miles per hour is really an extreme thing for any sport competitor to do. But cricket takes it to a new level. If cricket makes you scream, then it's definitely extreme.
Ooh, good new slogan. Oh, John, send that in. Send that in to the Cricket Federation. Yeah. But these last two photos, let's say these poor cricket players were hit in the crotch area, and they look like they are very pained. I would think they'd wear protection, a helmet of some sort down there too.
Well,
I don't know.
You can clearly tell that neither of those gentlemen swallowed their bubble gum.
Ho, ho. There's a horn for John right there. All right. What a great sport. Extreme cricket. I think that's what they should call it. If they call it extreme cricket, boy, they would really start bringing in the fans, especially the younger fans, make the sport attractive to the young folks that like that extreme stuff. John, I remember this, but back when we were young folks, back when we were in college, we were challenged to a game that could have been extreme cricket. I don't know. It was at least cricket. Do you remember being challenged by a fraternity to play cricket?
No, you'll have to bring me to speed on this one, Paul. I'm not recalling that.
My memory of those years is as vague as yours for a number of reasons, probably more on my side than yours. But we were challenged by a fraternity, and they said, all I remember was that they said the game was cricket, and it had a special uniform you had to wear. So the fraternity, John and I were always the guys who ended up doing all this stuff. So they said right away, hey, John and Paul, go get some cricket uniforms, and we're going to play this other fraternity. So sure enough, John and I went out and we got our cricket uniforms, and this is what we came up with here. We showed up dressed like crickets with antennas on our heads, and it looks like John there has at least 6 legs. I don't know how many legs crickets have. I
do remember this now, Paul, but it did take us quite a while to find an appropriate these appropriate outfits, though. That's for sure. I remember that.
I was
That was
so
very
embarrassed.
difficult.
I didn't even face the camera. I stood away. I turned my back to the camera so you could see the wings on my back. But obviously, John and I are dressed in cricket outfit. I'll tell you what. There's Japanese writing on this photo, which this was back before cell phones. So whoever took our photo must have used Fuji film in their camera. And that's not a racist joke. That's not because that's the name of the film, Fuji film.
That is the name of it. Is right. Yes.
Outstanding film and an outstanding sport. John, thanks so much for extreme cricket. What a great sport. And that means it's time for Bluff the co-host, everybody's favorite weird news show. For those of you who are not regulars, the rules are real simple. I have 3 stories similar to the ones that we've been telling all afternoon. One big difference. Those were real. These could be real. They could be a bluff. And it's up to you, Karen and John, to decide real or bluff. Wagering is allowed. Place your bets. John and Karen, put your hands on the buzzer. Let's get right to story number 1. A group of scientists studying honeybees in England accidentally left some in a glass of water and discovered that bees can survive underwater for up to a week. As a way to take advantage of this discovery and cover up their mistake, the scientists teamed up with a local restaurant and came up with a new drink called live bee tea. To make the drink, they pour cold water on 6 bees in a glass with a lid on it. The bees make honey in the water, which is then poured into a pot, heated, and poured over tea to make a sweet-tasting live bee tea. No bees are harmed, and they're given time to dry off and refuel at the hive. Customers say it's worth the extra charge because the live bee tea is bee-licious. Okay, so scientists find out that bees can live underwater, and they take the tea and put it in, they take their honey and put it in the water, and the scientists made tea out of it, and now they're selling it. Real or bluff? Karen, we'll start with you.
It doesn't sound real at all. So I congratulate you on a great story and going to say it's a bluff.
Okay, Karen says it's a bluff. John, how about you?
Yes, I agree with Karen on this. I think it's a bluff, and this is kind of one of the ones that you hope it is a bluff, because going through this whole process of trying to do that with live bees and then serving that to customers, I just don't get it.
Okay, so John says it's a bluff as well. That means Karen and John both agree it's a bluff. Let's check with the judges, and the judges say congratulations to both of you. That is a bluff. However, a qualified bluff. There was one element of truth in that story, and that is that a group of scientists in England really did leave some bees in water accidentally and found out that bees can actually live underwater for a week.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Okay. All right. Okay.
Isn't that
Okay.
amazing?
Yeah,
So
it is
I
amazing.
knew that wasn't interesting enough. So, okay. What's really interesting is that the score is 1-1. So let's get right to story number 2, hands on the buzzer. War reenactments. War reenactment used to be a popular hobby around the world, but Generation Z doesn't seem to be interested in them. So a group in France decided to make them more interesting and exciting for kids by replacing the cannons with confetti cannons and the guns with squirt guns, foam swords, and confetti cannons. Oh, I said confetti fake cannons already. Within 6 months, these fun war reenactments have become popular activities for birthdays, graduations, and summer picnic. The cost of the event includes all of the fun weapons, disposable paper uniforms for the kids, and a complete cleanup of the grounds after it's over. The company is hoping to expand and says they are talking to American Revolutionary and Civil War reenactors. Goodbye, bouncy castles. Hello, storming the castles with confetti cannons. Okay, so war reenactors are trying to attract younger people by replacing the weapons with confetti cannons and foam swords. Real or bluff, John?
I'm going to say this is real. And the reason I say it's real is I can see someone trying to do this and enabling younger people to understand how battles took place or what have you, with no harm involved. So I think in that respect, it can give them a taste of history, but again, with a degree of safety and no danger. So I'm going to say it's real.
Okay, John says it's real. Karen, how about you?
yeah, I think it's real. It's a safe way to play and do something different other than a bouncy house.
Other than a bouncy castle, a bouncy house. All right. So, wow, both Karen and John agree again. That's a very unusual. They both say that that story is real. Let's check with the judges, and the judges say, sorry, nothing real about that, other than the fact that there is such a thing as a confetti cannon, which I didn't even know. So, how about that?
Somebody's gonna take this idea and
That's
This is
run
right.
gonna be this is gonna be the start of it. That's right. That's right. You know that.
We need to copyright it right away. So we'll
Yep.
do that right after the show. Okay. Well, that means the score is still tied 1-1. Points are doubled in round number 3, but it doesn't matter because the score is tied. We're going to either end up with a tie or a winner. So, and when it's a tie, everybody wins. So let's go right to story number 3. Everyone has heard the story of Rapunzel and her long hair, but no one has ever climbed a hair ladder in real life until now. A woman in Hungary has never had a haircut, and now her hair is over 8 feet long. When a man asked if she would hang it out of a window and let him climb up it, she had a friend record the feat and put it on TikTok. The video went viral, and she now makes a living letting men climb her hair into a window where they can purchase a video of doing it, a t-shirt, and other souvenirs of the event. Even better, her OnlyFans channel is bringing in thousands of dollars a month, which she is saving to buy a house, one with a lot of windows and plenty of bathrooms for washing her long hair. Okay, so the lady who makes money letting men climb her long hair into windows. Real or bluff, Karen? And remember, it's in Hungary. Whatever. What do you say, real or bluff?
I don't think she'd have any hair left if guys tried to climb up her hair. So I'm going to say it's a bluff.
Okay, all right. From our hair expert, Karen says it's a bluff. John, how about you?
Yeah, I agree with Karen. That's got to be a bluff. I mean, how long would this be able to go on where men would be climbing up, you know, I mean, regardless as to where it is, Paul, on the planet. I mean, I don't think there's any way there's any truth to this at all.
The real question is, do you know anybody who would pay for the video?
I don't know.
Never mind. Never mind. Okay, so both Karen and John say that the Rapunzel story from Hungary is a bluff. Let's check with the judges. And the judges say, congratulations to both of you that it was a bluff. So
thank goodness.
Wow, both of you got 2 correct answers out of that. Those were 3 bluffs, by the way. And that means it's a tie score. Everybody goes away happy. John doesn't have to practice his flashcards for the rest of his time while he's on vacation. And
I'm in the clear. I'm in the clear, and so is Annette. So that's good. Congratulations.
hopefully all of you out there got one or at least one, and hopefully all 3 of those questions correct on Bluff the Co-host. That means we've reached the end of another edition of What in the World. I want to thank our producer, our co-host, and media mogul, and all-around great person, Karen Hale. Thank you for everything you do for our show. Thank you for everything you do for all the podcasts and podcasters at newclevelandradio.net. Everybody go there to the website, visit us, visit our podcast, visit all the great podcasts that Karen has. If you're looking for a coach, check out her coaching services. Like I said, the best south of Lake Erie and at the Broad area. So check it out. I want to thank my old friend John DiNallo, our color commentator, trivia guy, and all around good guy. Thanks, John. Enjoy your vacation.
Oh, thanks, Paul and Karen and audience. It's been a great show, and we'll be back next week with another great show.
That's right. We will continue to our run of at least 2 shows in a row on Tuesdays. I think that's pretty good. Tuesdays at 3:30 Eastern Daylight Time. So if you like to watch us live and make snarky comments like certain people in Texas like to do, we know who you're. Tex Chick and her friends down there. We know what you're doing. All the rest of you, again, you can communicate with us via Facebook, via newclevelandradio.net. Please look us up on Facebook or on YouTube. You can see some of those photos that we've been talking about. But if not, I hope you enjoyed the podcast nonetheless. You're the reason why we do the show every week. Without you, we wouldn't do it. We hope that you have as much fun listening as we do putting the show on. And I think on that note, I've run out of pages in the script, so that means that we're done. Good luck to the Guardians, the Cavaliers, the Wings, the Panther City team. Anybody else who's in any kind of sports this week. We're cheering for you.
We are.
We'll
Talk to
see
you
you
all
next
next week.
Bye-bye.